Welcome back. And today we're going to do a little work with some geometry, specifically working with angles, and we're going to be classifying them. They can either be acute, obtuse, right, or straight, supplementary, complementary. And we'll also take a quick look at opposites, verticals, and adjacents. So again, remember to use your notebook, take notes. You can see my email address if you want some extra work put up on Yakapaka. Send me an email and we'll get that set up for you. And here we go. Well, we can just look at the types of angles and see them within pictures. So right now we're seeing several angles and we're going to match them up with some of the names you hear see at the bottom. Now again, an acute angle is a small angle. That's going to be someplace between 1 and 89 degrees. You can have a decimal in there as well. Obtuse angles, they're going to be between 91 and 179. A straight angle, well, that's just a straight line. That's always 180 degrees. And we can have right angles, and those are going to be 90 degrees. And they typically will have a little drawing with inside the angle itself, a little square. That way you know that it's a right angle. So right now, let's look at some. This one looks to be an acute one. It's less than 90. So we'll mark that there. Let's get a clone here, and we have another acute angle right there. You can see that between 1 and 89 degrees. An obtuse, well, here's an obtuse one right here. It's between 81 and 179. And even though it's been drawn upside down, and that's something they'll try to do to try to confuse you, you can see that this angle is not quite straight. So it must be an obtuse angle between 81 and 79 degrees. Straight angle, no matter which way we turn it, it's going to be a straight line. So even if this was on an angle inclined up, or even if it was perfectly straight going up and down, like the axis we see on graphs, we have a straight angle, a straight line, and it's 180 degrees. And there we go. Okay, a right angle. Well, I guess I forgot to draw one in here, so let's make one real fast. We'll grab a line and we'll snap two lines together, and here's your line going up and your base line. And like I said, usually there'll be a little symbol in the middle like that, a little square, and that's basically a hint that that's a right angle. It's 90 degrees. It's square. Let's go on to the next page, and now we can classify them by just the number of degrees. So I'll have to write in here what kind of angle we actually have here. Well, we'll use the letters like A for acute, O for obtuse, S for straight, and R for right. Well, this is between 1 and 89. So this is an acute angle. 1 degree. Well, that's also an acute angle. And 89.5 degrees. That's acute. It's less than 90. 105. Now we've got an obtuse. It's bigger than 90 degrees. It's between 91 and 179. 91.5. Again, obtuse. And 179.5 degrees. Again, we have an obtuse. Now we have a 90-degree angle, and that would be considered a right angle. So you just write the letter R. 180 degrees, well, that's our straight line, and that's a straight angle. We'll just mark that with an S as well. So that's pretty much what we have in the way of angles. We're going to be heading out to, we got a few more here. Let's look at some of these. Let's talk about complementary, supplementary, and neithers. Complementaries, we're going to have two angles or more that add up to 90 degrees. Supplementaries, they're going to add up to 180 degrees. If they add up to anything else, we usually mark them as neither. So if you look here, we have a 72 degree angle. And let me just get an arrow here so we can look at it. And 72 degrees plus 18 degrees, when you add that up, it's going to equal 90 degrees. It's complementary. It could look like this in the picture. Again, we have an acute angle and another acute angle. But when you add these two up, you get a right angle of 90 degrees. Again, another little picture. We have two angles. They might both be 45 degrees, but when you add them, we get 90. When that happens, we call them supplementary. Now, excuse me, complementary. Complementaries must equal 90. Then we have some supplementary angles here. Supplementaries are going to add up to 180 degrees. A little trouble there with the little angle. So now we have angle C. Well, that's 125 degrees. We have angle D. That's 55. If you add them up, it equals 180. Again, with a picture, it could be an illustration that looks like this. We have an acute angle. We have an obtuse. But when you combine them, they make a straight line, or they add up to 180 degrees. Again, you can see something very similar down here. We have an acute and an obtuse, but when you do add them, you get 180. That's a straight line, or excuse me, that's a supplementary angle. If they come up to any other degree measurement, for example, 84 and 21 degrees, that's 105, or 80 and 45 is 125, we classify these as neither. They're neither complementary nor supplementary. So don't be fooled by the pictures. Now, a little more advanced work that we're doing with angles and with our geometry. We have vertical, we have opposites, and we have adjacent. Well, vertical and opposites, they're almost identical. Opposite angles and and also vertical angles are created by two straight lines. You can see you have angle A and angle B. Well, angle A and angle B are opposite. They're across from each other, and they also happen to be the same measurement. Opposites are equal. Now, vertical angles, they don't have to be equal, but they basically are two angles that share two straight lines. So here we go. We have our angle A and our angle B. In this case, they are vertical. Adjacent angles, and adjacent means right next to each other. Adjacent angles share a common point. That would be the vertex right there where they cross. And they have a ray between them. Well, if you look, this is the vertex, and here's our symbol going out with a line with the arrow. That's a ray. And angle W and angle K, well, they're adjacent. They're next to each other. And they share a common vertex, and they share a ray. There's a ray between the K and the angle W. So now we're going to be going out to Yakapaka, and there's a whole bunch of lessons and materials out there for you. Again, I'd like you to try to get a score of at least an 80. Hopefully you'll do even better than that. If you need additional work, again, please email me and we'll set some other work up. So good luck and see you.